pretty busy kitchen today. I've made a couple of cakes, and I'm making some soup and some chili for some guests that are going to arrive later. And I don't know exactly when they're going to get here or how hungry they'll be. So if I have soup and chili, I can keep it in the crock pot. They can eat when they're hungry, or everybody can eat when they're hungry. And what doesn't get eaten this evening, I will put away in freezer containers and freeze it, and we'll have it for later. So, in addition to the soup and the chili, this is turkey chili, so it's healthy, and 15-bean soup. I usually get a ham bone from the Honey Baked Ham store, and some of their ham bone soup mix, and I trim most of the ham off and use the ham bone, and then celery and onions and tomatoes, bay leaves, and that about does it. It's just that easy. And a lot of people don't know that you can buy just a ham bone at the Honey Baked Ham store, but you can, just the ham bone, and you can generally trim enough ham off the bone to have a few sandwiches, or I'm going to chop some up and I'm going to use it in my farmer's omelet casserole one morning when I have a house full of guests. So, and then the turkey chili is made with ground turkey breast, so it's really healthy. Healthy and low fat. It's always good to have healthy options for everybody. Not that the ham bone soup is not healthy, though. But you know that we're going to have a few treats during the holidays, and so, you know. So here I've made 2 layers of chocolate pound cake, and I'm going to freeze this cake for use later. I've wrapped each of the layers in saran wrap. I let them cool completely, wrap them in saran wrap, and now I'm going to go ahead and wrap them in aluminum foil. I'm not frosting this cake because I'm going to ice it with the icing that has to be cooked, and it won't freeze well. But these will freeze just fine. The key with cakes is let them thaw out the way you freeze them. For instance, this one I'm going to freeze all wrapped up in saran wrap. Right here I have a carrot cake that I've made, and it's already frosted. And I'm going to go ahead, it's got cream cheese frosting on it. And cream cheese frosting, most of the frostings that, aren't cooked, they freeze just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and freeze this whole cake, frosting and all, in the freezer downstairs. And then after it's totally frozen, then I'm going to bring it back up, and then I'm going to wrap it in saran wrap and aluminum foil to keep until we're ready to eat it in a couple of weeks. And so when I thaw this one out, I'm going to take all the saran wrap and everything off and let it thaw open like this. This makes sure that the same amount of moisture is in the cake when it thaws out as when you froze it. Keeps it nice and fresh, and it's as good as the day you made it. So this is what we did today in the kitchen. A couple of these cakes ready to just pull out, and this one just needs to be iced. And then we've got a couple of dishes for this evening's dinner, and what doesn't get eaten tonight, we'll freeze that as well and have it for later. It's always good to freeze your leftovers right away. I've got menus for every single breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and so I don't need to hold leftovers in the refrigerator indefinitely. And a lot of times, especially at the beginning of the holidays or the beginning of when I start having company, I'll start freezing things the morning after or the evening of that dinner if everything wasn't eaten right away. That way it's fresh when it gets thawed out and eaten that time. So those are my holiday tips and the holiday cooking for today.